Let me tell you about my good friend Beth. She was looking out for me when I first moved into my house that I bought almost 5 years ago. She was the first person to welcome me into the neighborhood. And little did I know, 5 years later, she would be the impetus to the house that I would ultimately move in and buy with Mr. Randolph. Well, what do you mean by that, TJ? I'm glad you asked. Like I said, my friend Beth, people would call her the busybody of the neighborhood because she knew what was going on with everybody. Even before I officially moved into my house, when I was doing the renovation, she would call me at the house I was renting at the time and say, "Are you expecting somebody over here?" She was looking out for everybody. She knew what was going on. Okay? So there is not a place in my house that she hasn't put her imprint on it of the previous house. She had a way of bringing people together with her nosy self, and she would get on my damn nerves. But I loved her. Well, how do we find it where we are now? Well, my friend Beth, she passed away on Christmas Eve morning of 2020 after she had just been over to my house the night before taking pictures of me and my then pregnant daughter as we watched the Nutcracker Ballet because we couldn't go see it in person. So you see her two daughters. She was a mom, she was a wife and mother of two daughters. And when she passed away unexpectedly, the neighborhood gathered around because everybody in the neighborhood knew her. We all gathered to help her husband, to support her husband with his girls, with food and, money and everything. And then I met what would be my soon-to-be sister from a Caucasian mister. So it's interesting because Beth brought us together. She had a way of bringing people together. So I met my Caucasian sister, Jeannie, and we became fast friends. Again, initially rallying around my friend's husband to help with the girls, but we just became close. So as time would pass, we would, continue with our friendship. And, my daughter was pregnant, as I shared with you, because Beth took the pictures of us the night before. And Jeannie's daughter had a daughter, and they thought that she wasn't going to have any more children. So she gave me and my daughter a whole bunch of clothes and baby furniture and all that kind of stuff because she thought she was done having kids. So anyway, months would pass and we would lose contact. I mean, we just really didn't lose contact, but we just was living our lives. So after this time, after the baby was born, my granddaughter was born, Jeannie reached out to me in October of last year. No, it's October of 2021, saying we were catching up, and she was calling to let me know that her daughter was pregnant again and was having a girl. So we were catching up, and we were catching up, and she was asking how my daughter and the baby were doing. I said, "Oh, they're great. We're looking forward to moving closer to the kids in the next year," or something like that. And she says to me, "Well, you can just buy my house." I said, "Where you going?" She said, "Well, I'm getting married and I'm moving to so-and-so." I said, "Girl, don't be playing with me." I said, "Because we'll put this house on the market today." She said, "No, I'm serious." So she offered us a price for the house. And I said, "Okay, well, let's talk. Me and Mr. Randolph going to talk it over. In the meantime, we pursue, we're excited about it." So we put our house on the market, go to California to visit my dad for Thanksgiving. While we were there, had multiple offers. So by the time we got back, we had multiple offers, and we took the biggest one. Well, and we enter into negotiation with the house with my sister, Jeannie. Now, interestingly enough, she did something for us that I'm not sure our biological relatives would do. Well, what do you mean by that? She by the time when she offered the house, it was for a certain price. And during that time, the price of the house, the value of the house went up and up and up. She could have said, well, I want to, I could make this for the house, so this is what I'm going to offer it as. I know this is what I told you, but I have an opportunity to make some money, more money, so this is what I'm going to do. But no. She gave us or sold us the house for what she originally offered it to us for, and by the time we closed, we had a significant amount of equity. She did something for us that some biological relatives wouldn't do. So here we are, fast forward, we're in our home. But the interesting thing about it, we never would have even met had it not been for Beth. And we laughed because I said, even in her death, she was looking out for everybody, me. So I don't understand how people don't believe in the Lord and the blessings of the Lord, how he brings people together in the circumstances you couldn't even create for yourself. Even to include how my mother ends up moving into the house that she left Oklahoma in 23 years ago, only to come back to find the place not only available, but renovated. You couldn't have even imagined such a thing. She couldn't have even orchestrated it. So I'm sharing this to say, the most things that you would never expect, and some of the things that could cause you the most heartache, the most pain, it could bring you the most joy, and ultimately bring you the most joy and the most blessings that you had no idea. You couldn't have orchestrated it yourself. And Beth, she was a true friend. There is not a place in my house that there's a part of her, my old house and my new house, that she didn't put her stamp on. She made the bouquets for my daughter's wedding. She made the bouquets for my wedding. She was the first person, when my daughter found out she was pregnant, to buy my daughter a baby gift. But she also connected me to someone, a friend that would become a sister from a Caucasian mister, who I love and who loves me. It's amazing how life works. Y'all have a blessed day, and do not miss out on the blessings that could be from your next door neighbor, because she was my next door neighbor. Beth was my next door neighbor, by the way. Literally my next door neighbor. I loved her, and I miss her.